Temperature in the mid-50s. And Justin Tucker to kick it off. Back deep is Drake and Grant. And they will have no chance. And we'll have a chance to introduce you to Matt Moore at quarterback.
Offense.
So whistles before the first snap.
Full start. Offense. Number 67. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Laramie 10-15 for the first snap now from the 20. And Moore goes across the middle, and he's almost. That could have been intercepted. He's trying to go to Landry, and that ball was in the air for a while. Quarter from 2 and 28 yards in that comeback win last Sunday. And Ajayi, he's able to get away and rip off a big run. In fact, that's his longest run of the season. His longest run to date had been 20. On to defense of the Ravens could be dead last against the rush, but they are. Now that'll help things a little bit as far as the numbers as they tackle here in Baltimore. 2nd and 12. As Moore is able to find Pisano open. And he's got 6. Rushing 5. Moore unloads. What a tackle by Jefferson in the open field.
Each played in the past.
So Matt Hawk into punch. A wobbler was not deep, but fair caught at the 21 by Webb. 34-yard boot. Healthy tonight, and he's got a right guard that we're excited about. First down carry is by Collins, and he's been averaging almost 6 yards a clip. He got 5 with that first handle, and he's out there. That's Escobar, your former teammate in motion. 2nd and 5, and it's a completion for a first down. Aluga, Timmons can all make plays. And the secondary with Jones the leader. Here's a first down throw, and it's incomplete, and Flacco
Back there. Let him throw it on 1st and 2nd down.
Here they're going to run it on 2nd and 10 with Collins up the middle, and again, he's got about 5. They bring in Javaris Allen, big part of the passing game. 3rd and 5, they chase after Flacco. Tries to run away, and he can't. Ball came out of his hand as he was taken down. He just tried to shovel pass it. Cook out for the duties. Holds every punting record in Ravens history. And there was pressure up the middle, but he delivers a big boot to Grant at the 10, reversing course for a moment. But look at the 4 Ravens are on him. All over Ajayi right after the handoff. 2nd and 13. Ball tipped, and it's incomplete. 3rd and 13. Landry in a slot to the right, and there's confusion. It's a mess, and Moore unloads it.
Decline it.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 14. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Going anyway, and standing near midfield is Griff Whalen.
That's what we're trying to do.
Steps up for it to the 43, and down at the 40 right away. Thomas was on him. With Collins the running back. The ball carrier splits defenders, and ridden down by Sue. Looked like it might be a tackle for a loss. They are really high on this kid, Alex Collins.
He's averaging 5.9 yards per carry as they go no huddle.
2nd and 8. Quick pass, good catch, and that's Benjamin Watson for a short gain.
A lot of this is him.
Javaris Allen comes in, empty backfield, both 3rd and 4, deep ball time with a flag out, and it's caught! And it's a touchdown for Jeremy Macklin.
12 men on the field at the snap. Defense. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there's the 12th guy. And Flacco gets him to jump, and you're going to see Macklin go right down the sideline. And Flacco with a perfect ball. And he says, slump. I'm Joe Flacco. I'm not in no. That's all sometimes good quarterbacks. You got to have some guys give you a step.
Tucker with the extra point. And Baltimore with 7 on the board. Playing from behind these last couple of weeks, 3-game win streak. but the last 2 weeks they've led for only 2 minutes and 42 seconds in those 2 wins at Atlanta and at home against the Jets. Lost 4 of their last 5 after opening up with a couple of wins. Now deep ball time for Moore, and there is all kinds of contact as Landry was trying to go deep.
It comes to that office and works every day.
2nd and 10. Ajayi is met by Suggs quickly. He's the D coordinator for the Ravens, and they're blitzing from the edges as Moore unloads and is behind his receiver, Kenny Stills. Late Monday night, really only had a Tuesday practice and a walkthrough on Wednesday, but he was with them in camp. Should that be necessary tonight? Oh, Whalen able to snag it a second time. Arm here to help life go right, and quickly now the Ravens dump it off across the middle to Collins for a pickup of 3, and they're really trying to hurry things up, the Ravens, here in this first quarter. Echo from that hit that he took on the first series. Again, 2nd and 7. Collins looking for the corner, and he dives near the first. He got a good block out there, too. That's going to lead to problems.
Yeah, he's going to get you hit.
3rd and 2. There's a good block on the blitzer. But, oh, look at Alonso take away any chance and firework.
I know, which is actually a rare start.
Yeah, but you are talking about the 31st and 32nd ranked offenses in the league. That bounces out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. 9 plays that have produced nothing or negative yardage. Ajayi tries to push off one of his linemen, and he scoots ahead for about 4. 2nd and 6 from the 20. Going to give another go here to Ajayi. And he'll set up 3rd and a long 4, maybe 5. 3rd and 5. Time for Moore. His pass is on the mark. Stills with the catch on the first down, right in front of Humphrey.
It's almost that simple.
Their second first down of the game, out to the 41. Over to Landry. His first catch is going to set him back about 4 as he's pulled back and then pancaked.
Block, telling the O-line, trying to get the communication in it.
He's going to go draw. Ajayi's got some room. He got tripped up by Webb. Otherwise, he could have perhaps taken that into the secondary.
Let's see if he did a good job here or if they get him.
They're blitzing 6, and he's got no chance. So the second Raven comes in and wallops him as well.
And hit him.
Moore has taken a couple of big hits.
Hopefully that doesn't affect you, because it does early sometimes to quarterbacks.
Hawk earns the fair catch from Webb at the 28-yard line.
Tight end at the bottom.
That's Escobar. We're going to run it with Collins. Look at that speed. Collins cuts a couple of times, and then with reckless abandon is brought down at the 48. The carry best in the league. Grew up a huge Dolphins fan. Wears the 34 in honor of Ricky Williams, his favorite Dolphin. And he's got another 5 to his total. The Ravens are driving to start quarter number 2. And they go to the running play with Allen, and he burst ahead. They're running the football on this Miami front.
There'd be a real tough team to beat this year, because here they go so fast again.
1st and 10, thrown down. That was William Hayes who made the tackle.
Technique in one of those 3-4s.
2nd and 11. Flacco dumps it off to Allen. Butts heads, goes out of bounds, pick up a 2. That's it. Thanks for pointing that one out. Yeah. Here's a 3rd and 9. Flacco goes it incomplete, but the incompletion is big.
Those 60s in his sleep too, Jim. I know he did.
You're not kidding. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Look how high this is, how long it is, and how true it is from 55, Justin Tucker.
And you see he's a great in-game adjuster, and I think that's one of the secrets to being a great play caller in the National Football League.
So a touchback. We've talked. First down run. And Ajayi will give him 1 here. That's it.
They can't give the field position right back to Baltimore again.
There's more. And underneath him, great defensive play by Webb on Thomas. Performing at such a high level. 3rd and 6. Moore lofts it, and Unable to turn around and connect was Williams. Yards a boot. Ravens without the return services of Michael Campanaro, who's a good one. He's inactive and out with injury. A bad punt that time. Rolling out is Flacco. Oh, look at that. Boyle with the catch.
There we go.
One big play out of the night so far. 2nd and 4, trying to keep you happy, Tom. Here we go. Another pass play to Boyle, and he's got a first down at the 49 and pick up a 5 out of Maine. There's Collins. He saw all that footwork.
He must be doing something right. I have a feeling my wife's going to make me do that tomorrow.
I'd like to see that tape. 2nd and 10.
You'll never see it. Here it is.
That's what we were talking about. How about that for timing?
That's why you Irish dance right there.
That's why Jim Rickoff knows what he's doing.
Chance to meet Tubbs last game.
Made a big difference in that young man's life, too. And there's a carry by Allen in for Collins down to the 31.
People who don't like the Patriots out there.
2nd and 6. Oh, and it's almost caught. That was the rookie Tankersley. 3rd and 6 for the Ravens. Movement, and the play is stopped.
It looked like he got him to jump first, didn't it?
False start. Offense. Number 79. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Whalen in motion. They go to the ground to Allen. Alonzo's Allen down at the 30. Set up about a 48-yard field goal attempt for Tucker. And he's going to once again deliver the 3.
Oh, I don't know. Did it get in there?
Yeah.
With 6 plays and 18 yards. They have to have something here, Jim, just for the confidence level.
Drake is the returner, and he puts him in a hole back at the 15.
Coming at you.
They went 9-2 starting at week 6 last year. 4-2 this year. The pass headed in the direction of Landry, but not even close. To a start that's very similar to what happened here in the first week of December last season when the Dolphins came to town. There's a completion for a first out at the 28. See high on him in our meeting with him yesterday, talking about Parker. Said he's going to turn into a monster as a wide receiver. And no gain for Ajayi on first down.
Skills, I'm big, I'm tough, and I can run.
2nd and 10, time for more. Stands there and able to fire it for the first down at the 41. And again, he goes back to Carew with the ball.
Hurry, son!
Out to the 41. Down the sideline, it is a catch.
This could be offensive without pass interference. It looked like Stills pushed off a little bit.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 24. Penalties decline. Result of the play. Completed catch. First down.
Brand
Catches.
Miami's offense for the first time in Baltimore territory. Here's Moore going to the end zone, and it's incomplete. That was Stills. Chargers, 2-time first team All-Pro. 2nd and 10. And Landry with Carr right around them.
Someone runs back to the middle. All-out pressure otherwise.
Big play, big blitz, 3rd and 10. And on the ground, it's caught. It's caught by Williams for a loss of a couple. 8 for 8 on the season. And from 50 out, wide of the mark.
Get on first start, but take a shot in one of these first few plays.
How about right here? Good tackle by Jones on Macklin. And we're on NFL Network. First down. Dump it off to Collins. With a wiggle. First down, and down the sideline he goes.
Okay, I've got this guy down. His nickname's the Irish Dancer, okay?
27-yard pass play. And from the 20, Flacco, incomplete at the 13. That was Watson in 3 plays, even with that incompletion. And 2nd and 10. We go to the ground. And that's Allen stacked up by a group of Dolphins.
Right here at the bottom of your screen.
Former Cowboy tight end just signed a couple of days ago. Flacco rolling, and running, and he's going to have to, not the ball comes out, helmet's off, flags are down. It was Kiko Alonso who delivered the blow. Flacco's on his feet.
Personal foul. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
I've been there where the defense.
Toss it to him. Collins on the edge. And he goes out. The football comes out of his hands, but out of bounds at about the 1 in the football. Now they're going to go instead up the middle. And that was stopped right at the line of scrimmage for
Baltimore, don't you?
Well, they got everybody in tight, and they're going to roll out play action in zone, and it's caught for the touchdown. Right you are, Tony. It's Watson with the reception, Mallett with the touchdown pass.
And you're going to see Watson go up, and Alonso doesn't do his job. As he
Tucker makes it 20-0. Jensen with a little payback after what he saw happen to his quarterback. Sue is on top of him. There'll be a lot of close examination of that tape. What really stood out that didn't fit into that great run was their game here when they lost 38-6 as Ajayi loses 2 more. Yeah, they got thumped here 38-6 by Baltimore.
after you run the ball in first, and they're coming after him.
Yes, they are. More up top and out of reach for Landry.
He pointed at one guy. Let's see if he stays there.
Here's a 3rd and 12. That's not going to get the result they needed.
Timeout, Baltimore. Baltimore should take a timeout right now. Baltimore, they've been dead. They're not very good. And they come in and they beat them.
He says, I know. I don't look at their numbers because every time I seem to come here, the sky is falling. As Red picks it up on the bounce. Ball is on the ground. There was a fumble.
Did it look like a fumble to you?
Definitely.
By rule, as soon as that kick is possessed, this play is over.
Out of the gun. Gets it right in the belly of Collins. He's ridden down at the line of scrimmage. Taken right down. Down at 10. And they're blitzing. Flags are out. Pass play to Rainey. We'll check the flag, and Bobby Rainey Jr. is able to gallop all the way near midfield.
Illegal formation. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty replay. Second down.
So the left
talks to Moore. 2nd and 15. Handoff should be another quick timeout here in Miami. Tackle at the 30 on Allen. Here serving as the backup to Flacco. 3rd and 9 to the locker room guy, they say, and there's a tackle right away on Allen. Who knows, maybe try a little trickery here, but again, Cook get a lot of things done. And this is going to sail out of bounds. It goes right into the net. I told you, he's a great directional punter. Tony.
And that's exactly what you want to do. Punt it right out of bounds, right on the side. You just don't want to be too early. And about the 30, 33-yard line, here we go. Just slide in the pocket.
Pressure on Moore, and they sack him back at the 20. Rainey is back deep. Ravens had deferred at the start, so they get it here up 20 to start the 3rd. Rainey runs it out, and there's a blur out to about the 23. With the first snap, 3rd quarter, they put up 196 yards of offense in that first half, and Collins plows ahead for another 13. That gives him 11 for 73 in this game.
Again, unbalanced again, Jim.
Collins, he cuts outside. He's got another 5. He peels off 5 yards virtually every time, and a 2nd and 5. That's the handle, and look at him, ride a Dolphin with him all the way for the first down. Defensive staff. Years back, tries to find a little seam, dives ahead, give him 1. They had against the Vikings on Sunday in Minnesota. 2nd and 9. And a deep pass. And it falls incomplete. Trying to...
Can get these guys blocked off the edge.
Got to get inside the 43 of Miami. The pass is behind Perriman. 10. Big high boot by Cook. Bounces at the 15. Goes on favorably for the Ravens to about the 9. Backed up at the 9. Ajayi just got a couple. That's Brandon Williams who makes the tackle. He can change everything, as you saw with our next gen replay and stats. There's a little swing pass over to Ajayi. Tripped up by Jefferson, who's made that play a couple of times tonight.
Where to go? We'll see if everyone's blocked up or not.
3rd and 5. Pass. Wide of the mark. Thomas had separation from the defender. Hawk stands at the goal line. Launches a beauty. Catch by Webb. Down in Miami. And Coach, we send all our best wishes to you. Here's a first down throw. Complete over to Boyle. He's got a first down before Jones is there to meet him. Video they have of that. We'll weigh in later. Here's a 1st and 10 toss to Collins. And he's dragged down at the line of scrimmage as Alonso's on him. And you were looking at those images of Don Shula, and I could just tell you... the coach is still the vice chairman, by the way, of the Dolphins organization. As Collins is stacked up for no gain. And
After the play, personal foul, defense number 93. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
See, he's getting his arm off him there.
First down, 36-yard line. There's a pickup of about 3. He only has 1 reception, and that lost 4 yards. Here's a 2nd and 8. Nice pass is dropped right in the hands of Macklin. 3rd and 8.
Protecting the field goal.
Coming close to a first down. A lot of games. And if Harbaugh block him. How many times, though, have they been back inside the 20 and into 10 to start drives? And they begin it with the ball being tipped. Incomplete, trying to second batted pass. Toss. Boy, there's a Raven on him right away. Look at this. Ajayi.
Sort of a... let's move it back 5 more yards.
Yeah, another pre-snap call against the
False
Dolphins.
start, offense number 67. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Baltimore.
3rd and 18. Landry. Yeah, that was just a gain of 3 or 4. So that's now out of 10 drives, 6 3-and-outs. That's the 8th punt of the night by Hawk. Webb takes it at the 19. And the Dolphins end it rather quickly. Sort of jolt of
During the
energy
return,
for him.
illegal block in the back. Return team number 59. 10-yard penalty. 1st and 10. Timeout.
In this game on 38 plays. And now the Ravens after the penalty and the punt. Backed up and Collins gets it all back and more. Out to about the 36.
Finishes the play. They might have found a steal with this guy.
First down, here he goes. Needs 4 for 100. And they give him 3.
Lineman over here, and he killed the play, so he's trying to do something a little different, which is the toss.
Buck Allen has Sue and others throwing him back for a loss of 1. We haven't had any point production so far here in this 3rd quarter. As Mallett gives it up to Boyle. Tries to get around Alonso, and he's going to be stopped about 2 yards shy. Jones comes up to help finish it off.
And that was the big special teams play they needed.
Yeah, you've been waiting
False
for
start, offense number 54. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Won't make any. He was going to get the Dolphins back in the game. Hold on, we got another flag.
I felt like they should try and get them to like false start a few times in a row.
What it is?
Start. That was
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 35. 5-yard penalty, Fourth down.
Fourth. Angling for here after this punt, barring a return. We're going to go to a break. I'm looking for the double T's. I'm looking for one more to tell us what's going to be coming up here as Landry is tackled at the 18. So take us to commercial. Moore, first down throw, drops it off. Ajayi tripped up by Owasso. 2nd and 5. Ajayi, that's good for a first down, and it gives us a chance to come finally.
That's all. But right now, just snap it fast, throw it to him.
The sideline pass, and that's caught by Stills. Another short game.
So you take your one shot, but they're going to play safe.
2nd and 4. Again, safe across the middle. Stills had the first down, and that cutback brought him back behind the line. First down, but now they're a yard short.
Just a handoff here.
3rd and 1, and that's good for the first. That was a hit by Mosley, but I believe, it's going to be enough for the first season. His next 12, he's produced 2 yards on the ground. There it is again. Carew is knocked down again. Owasso.
I'd take a shot right here down the field this play.
2nd and 5. Pass is high, pulled down for a first down by Carew. At the 4th, Miami trying to chip away a little bit on this drive. Got a first down throw, complete to Landry. Able to shake away from Carr, and that's first time he's really made a play tonight.
I'm telling you, you want to take a shot as a quarterback right now. Pump inside, throw outside.
There you go. There's your shot. Is it? Nope. Stills. You saw it coming, Tony. The pass was just a little too far. Second time in Raven territory. That's knocked down there. It's intercepted by Mosley.
He's going to score, Jim.
Well, Moore's going to try to get him. Moore trying to get the angle on him. And he's in. Touchdown. C.J. Mosley.
Watch it. He blitzes. He gets blocked, backs out, and then just comes up with an incredibly athletic play.
Just engulfed that football. I mean, it's just, he was not going to drop.
Right now, he's going to try and do something here.
Pass incomplete. Got a flag on the far side.
Illegal formation. Offense number 79 was uncovered. Penalties declined.
Been suggesting down in the Miami media that coming into this game that if he played well, who knows, maybe there'd be a quarterback controversy later on down the road. Play. But Gase was not in favor of it on a short week and facing this defense that he knows can be a pretty rough bunch.
I mean, you could play with broken ribs. It's just when you have a guy who comes in and plays well, like Moore, you don't have to. You feel comfortable enough to go do that. And
starting to finally at least show signs of production. There's a catch for the first down by Stills. So yeah, Moore did a fantastic job leading them from behind.
And Jay brought them back in that game.
Yes, he did.
And this season's going to go where Jay goes. If he can play well again next week.
So 2nd and 10. And a long pass. Almost turning around and making the catch. That was Grant. And his father was Bobby Humphrey, the 2nd all-time rusher in Alabama history. He was a first-round pick long ago at the Denver Broncos. So that family.
That he's doing.
Go ahead and try to make something happen. You still got 12 minutes to go. Moore, where do you go? Nowhere. Ravens. Again, Ryan Mallett has gone since the last minute of the first half when he had to take over for an injured Joe Flacco. Started Joe game 1. And he's been a starting quarterback all but 6 times. There's a pass down to the 13. Miami says he didn't catch it, and that's agreed upon by the officials. They toss it to Towns. Shake off a hit.
You see what I'm talking about, though? He makes people miss.
Yeah. First down at the 24. Give it to Allen. And he's got about 3, and I'm here with Flacco's injury. Here's a bust up the middle and driving down to the 12. It's Allen.
and he's getting a lot of extra carries after Collins. Not a secret why you win in the National Football League. You can pound the rock, it simplifies the game.
And they've got another 2.
Position, kick field goals, and win games 16-13.
Here's Collins with a flag out, and he made such a good effort to get out of a jam.
Offside. Defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty's been accepted. Second down.
I was going to say, though, Collins, 2nd and 3, can pick up the first at 2. They go inside with Allen. And he takes a couple of Dolphins with him. Tonight till 3 o'clock. They go through all the play calls. And a flag first.
Looks like an offside, which should give him half the distance.
Okay.
There's 3 fouls in the play, all by the defense. Unimpeded. Defense.
That
decline.
right there
foul.
will be bringing
defense. Number 93.
a little less of a
decline.
paycheck.
Personal foul. Defense.
Next
number
time.
95 is accepted. Half the distance. 1st and goal.
Next time, 6th and goal. Allen, the running back, low snap, drops the football, it's in the end zone, and it's recovered by a Raven for a touchdown. That is Chris Moore.
To recover.
Look at Chris Moore, though, on the spot. He
Comes up with a big play in the
2nd straight game. He scored on what was the last play of the game at Minnesota from 13 yards out. Miami for the 2nd straight year. And you and T. Brewer having a little time of it down there.
taking some of the guys on this defense out from Baltimore.
Coming up his car. He was coming up from the outside. Oddity on Sunday. We had 3 shutouts on Sunday alone, which you don't see. 2nd and 9 as Landry tries to get free, and there's
They're coming together.
yes, they are in every facet.
But you would argue Baltimore today is coming together if not for the Flacco injury.
There's Landry picking up a first out at the 46.
Rest.
Here comes a blitz. Pass away, and it's picked. Look out, here they go. Jimmy Smith weaves it to the end zone. A 2nd pick 6.
And you see Moore just throws it right to the sideline, and Smith is just staring at the quarterback. I mean, that was intercepted 100 out of 100 times. You need to get the protection right. Always protect themselves.
Extra point makes it 40-0.
Ball game. And McDermott has them just playing sound football, like almost like Carolina when he was there. Just he's building something.
I'm looking forward to that game. Again, that's next Thursday night, NFL Network. He's here tonight. Just an amazing guy, one of our replay operators and a tremendous teammate.
That's pretty impressive.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense, 15-yard foul, penalty, automatic 1st down.
He ended up signing with the Cowboys. At the time, we're carrying a couple of quarterbacks, and Tony Romo and Brad Johnson. So he came to camp, and he played in all these preseason games for you guys. And
Coaches now that they had Dan on the offensive side of the ball. And see the balance edge.
that's great.
Matt actually, we tried to sneak on practice squad. He had a really good preseason.
I remember you saying that you were impressed by his throwing motion, though, and you asked him about it.
Well, you can't make it 10 years in the NFL. He's in his 11th season. You don't. He threw the ball as well as anybody had ever been around.
They
if you
remember
can throw
that.
football, you're always going to have a job.
They remember that around Baltimore, Vinny. As Drake is knocked down and bring us to the 2-minute warning. That was intended for Carew. It's Halloween season. Incomplete. Hold on. That's what I want to see. And a knee, mercifully.
Tonight, that's why they won this football game on both sides of the ball. That was. He's going to stick around. I mean, he's been there 10 years, and I don't see any. He's too good of a coach. He's got a good quarterback. I mean, they're going to be fine here. They always play good. They're really well coached. And if you're really well coached in the NFL, I don't know why you would ever make a change. Subtly adjust the scheme here and there, but You're going to win more than you're going to lose over the years if you have one of the coaches who can get his team to be sound.
And they've been hobbled by so many injuries going back to training camp, and they got a couple of guys back tonight, like Macklin, who made a difference early in this game. The Dolphins, by the way, it's the 8th straight game. They don't even have a rush touchdown. It's the longest streak in team history. You don't have one on the whole season. It's been 144 now rush touchdowns around the league. They don't have one.